The Economic Community of West African States has expressed concern over the growing effect of insecurity, thus resulting in the high number of internally displaced persons in the sub-region. President of the ECOWAS Commission, CLAUDE, disclosed this while presenting his interim report on the state of the community in Nigeria's capital. He said the situation has called for concern as the first quarter of the year 2022 had already recorded a 50% increase in the number of losses compared to the year 2022. The gathering of the ECOWAS Parliament's first ordinary session for the year 2022 is aimed at bringing in representatives from the community to discuss issues bordering the member states as well as proffer solutions through deliberations and commitment to regional growth. To this end, experts are featured in different areas and with reports from member states and most importantly, an interim report by the President of the ECOWAS Commission. Prior to this, CLAUDE highlighted the challenges facing the region, particularly on maritime security, hence giving commendation to the Republic of Nigeria for being exempted from the piracy list hotspots.
We said it is difficult and it is getting worse when we look at the evolution in the region. Between 2018 and 2021, we see that the situation has worsened. The number of cases has multiplied by close to 10. Unfortunately, the number of losses have been quadrupled practically. If we look at the situation of the first 4 years of 2022, we're already at 50% of what we had in 2021. So this means that the trends are getting worse, as you will hear from the news. It's a difficult situation. Firstly, the fight against terrorism is a priority and it is being implemented. It comes to strengthen the various actions carried out at in the various countries. Above all, it comes to strengthen the various initiatives to fight insecurity. Security situation as well as the food production crisis create an unprecedented humanitarian crisis in our region. When you look at this table, you see that in 2021, the number of internally displaced persons in the region went from 4.4 million to 5.5 million. So there's a large increase in the number of IDPs. This shows the extent of the crisis facing our region because of the double burden of security and food production. The terrorist danger is getting worse and should be resolutely combated in the long term with financial, technological, and human resources that are fit for purpose, and strengthened cooperation with all the interested parties at regional level, including local communities and the international community.
However, contributing to the presentation, members of the parliamentarian urged collaboration and internet-driven in order to abate maritime and other security threats in the region.
Mr. Speaker, we have always referred to security as only the issue of terrorism and maybe attacks with weapons. But I have observed and I have seen that there are other issues of security that if we are not careful will completely disintegrate us and give us problems even in the very communities that we represent. The issue of LGBTQI+ and whatsoever, which has to do with us as a community. What are we doing about it? Currently in Ghana, we have the bill in Parliament, which we are trying as much as we can to work on. What are the other communities? What are the other countries in our sub-region? What are we doing about it? Are we collaborating to ensure that it doesn't actually take place? Because it's going to affect us culturally, morally, religiously, ethically, and all those things. And it's a very big problem.
Heightened terrorism, heightened banditry, heightened kidnappings. If technology was able to help us in the maritime subsector, why has it been difficult to translate SIM to the other areas of challenge? If there are things we need to know, probably we should know so that we can also look at it from the perspective of our home government.
Speaking further on the ECOWAS protocol on the free movement of goods and persons, President of the ECOWAS Commission, CLAUDE, said they have worked tirelessly to ensure compliance, adding that there is a need for the MPs to sensitize their respective countries to achieve the desired results.
With regard to the African Continental Free Trade Area, we have 5 regional economic communities, and ECOWAS is well ahead of the others. A lot of our colleagues from the other RECs come here to see what we're doing. As I said, nothing is perfect. Today, the number of products that we have are about 7,600 approved under the ECOWAS free trade system. And a few years ago, we had only about 2,000. So this means that the enterprises have confidence, because if they didn't, they would not go into the process of having their products approved under the trade liberalization scheme. What it means is that the states want to benefit from a bigger market for their products. The system is functioning, but obviously it's not perfect. But for it to be function, there's need for close collaboration between the countries, amongst the countries, and between the countries and the Commission. We have a task force responsible for intervening when there are obstacles to free movement of goods and persons. The task force has carried out missions, met with stakeholders to try to find a solution. These are member countries, so you also have a role to play to sensitize your states so that the provisions of the protocol on free movement are respected. Because if not, whatever missions and meetings are held at the level of experts, mediation through the first task force, they are not going to achieve anything. If all countries benefit from free movement, free trade is beneficial to the entire region, not just to 1 or 2 countries. So, in that case, the cost of closing a border is always higher than the benefits.
On his part, the first Deputy Speaker, ECOWAS Parliament, Idris Wase, also pledged Nigeria's commitment to ensuring that the ECOWAS protocol is respected, noting that their aim of closing the border was to checkmate whatever goes in and out of the country for security measures.
Don't bring a vehicle that is more than 5 years and then oil or production or usage. Then you use your coastal line to allow the reputation there, because you get economic benefit, and then you have to come and dump it on us. I think these are things that I want the chairman to address, so that let it be known that Nigeria didn't do those things because they want to bully other sister countries, no, but because we want to do the right thing and ensure that we respect our protocol.
The MPs are inquisitive about finding a lasting solution to security challenges. They are optimistic that if technology could tackle maritime security threats, it should also be applied in the fight against banditry and all forms of criminality in the region. Vincent Okushi, QTV News, Abuja.